Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm inviting you to join me at the tail end of my tutorial for my patrons, which has the theme Quirky Houses. I've completed the first two steps and shall be colouring in one such quirky house using watercolours. If you'd like to see both full-length videos and other similar tutorials, you can join me over on Patreon, link is down below. If not, just sit back and relax and join me in this relaxing painting session. Okay, so now that we've finished adding the shadows, I think it's time to start adding some colour. So I'm going to start with this Rich Green Gold by Daniel Smith, just like the previous house. And I'm going to dilute it. And I'm going to start adding this as my base layer. I'm going to start with the birdie. So I'm going to add most of the colour where the shadows are. And then feather it out where my highlight is. I'm going to do that for the whole bird. It has really clouded over now, so we might get some rain. Finally, it's been teasing us forever that we're gonna get rain, but no such luck. I do love summer showers. The one thing that I do not like after summer showers is the humidity, because the humidity rises so much. Everything becomes very sticky. But what will be, will be. Okay, so I'm going to do this for the rest of the foliage as well. Start here and do the rest. So adding the colour first where the shadow is, and then cleaning my brush and pushing the colour towards my highlight. Our little birdie in the roof has begun again chirping. It's probably hungry and wants its mama to feed it. Now I am going to do the same with the base where our house is sitting on. Add a very light base of this rich green gold. This is going to go to the round all the base, even our lane there. It's just as I did in the previous house. So I'm going to push the colour. You kind of need to work a little bit fast so that it doesn't dry out, so it's kind of unified. The watercolour blends while it's wet. Sometimes if you're too slow, or if I'm too slow, it will dry and then you can see where you started and where you finished, if you know what I mean. If that makes any sense. You know, when you apply colour and say you stop here and then go away and come back and you start again, you're going to see that seam there where you started. So if you've got like this one area, and you want it to be nice and smooth, so there's no interruptions, it's better to do it in one full swoop than just wait and go back to it. Okay, so I have to wait until that is dry, but while I'm doing that, while I'm waiting, I'm going to go and dilute some of this forest green by Deep Deep Light. And now that it has dried, I'm going to go and start applying a thin layer of this forest green onto the base. So we're basically following the same procedure as we did last time. Just being careful not to paint over our branches. Go. You can see that beautiful granulation already happening, and that lovely brightness of the green underneath, the rich green gold coming through. As I explained before, you don't have to use rich green gold. You can use quinacridone gold that's mixed with a transparent green or blue to create like this vibrant green as a base, or nickel azo yellow, again mixed to make a vibrant green. Rich green gold is just one that I've used a lot. I've used for years, so I know it well. Okay, so there we have put on top the forest green by Deep Deep Light, and you can see that lovely little granulation coming through, a very delicate granulation, which is really nice. Now we're going to start with the foliage, and I'm going to do what I did last time again. I'm going to take this forest green, I'm going to tilt my pad, my little notebook, and start adding the colour where the shadow is. And with the help of gravity, because this is a very heavy pigment, or it contains a very heavy pigment, I am going to push the colour where I want it to go. So I can see it going down, and I don't want that to happen. It is a little bit crazy, but in watercolour, gravity is a tool. It literally is. It can help, as I said before, but it can, make things go really wrong. But if you know your watercolour, if you know what pigment you're using and how it behaves, you can make it behave to your advantage. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to dry before I do the top bit, which is this, and I'm going to go and do the other foliage. Again, starting adding the colour where my shadow is, and then using my brush, water and gravity to push the pigment where I want it to go. I'm trying to think of other materials where gravity is so important. Gouache, maybe? Other water-based materials, probably. Just push it where we want it to go. Okay. Now, while that is drying, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding a pattern on our base, just like we did in the other house tutorial, but we're going to do a different pattern this time. Trying to figure out what the best angle is to start painting without smudging anything. Everything feels very wet. I'm going to start this side. Or before I do that, please forgive me because I forgot to add a little bit of shadow to our house, and that needs to be done before I add the pattern. Okay, now we can start adding the pattern. I am going to pick up some of this forest green, push any excess of paint off my brush and just use the minimal amount so it's not overloaded with the water, so that I can control the strokes better. I'm going to do just lines. This is going to be a very simple pattern again, not as simple as the previous one, but quite simple. Do lines and then just do circles. And okay, is that dry? Yes, that feels dry. When I have something this kind of detailed with all these little leaves and it's very intricate, I kind of like when I have a pattern to keep it really simple, because I don't want it to be too busy. So just circles that gradually get bigger. I think that gives just about the right amount of interest. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. This is one thing that I do like about the forest green, that I can get that opaqueness and do these details with the same colour. Push off a bit more colour there. Take some of this and maybe do this side. I'm trying to push the colour and the brush to a fine point before I start adding. The details. Okay. I hope that you're enjoying this tutorial. I really am. I love drawing quirky houses, as I've said a million times probably, but I do. Is that you can do so much with this idea. And I love an idea where you can, use your imagination freely and experiment. And I think one here. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Okay, so while that's drying, I am going to add some more of this green, some more of this forest green to my birdie. So I'm going to tilt it, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing, adding the colour where my shadow is. And with my brush, water and gravity, pushing the colour where I want it to go, not where it wants to go. So I'm going to tilt that a bit, push down. Turn around. And okay, maybe leave it upside down for now, because I want the colour to come down. So I've got an upside down birdie at the moment, but needs must. Hope it's not too uncomfortable. Sorry, birdie. Okay, and now I'm just going to tilt, and I'm going to add a little bit more foliage, a little more green to this foliage here. Again, water, feathering it out, and doing the same here. I think this forest green is going to probably be my first deep light colour that I'm going to run out of because I use it so much. I love layering with it. As I said, it's kind of an intricate colour. It's like a complex colour, and then you add that layer of green underneath with the rich green gold, or another green of your choice. I mean, now that I think of it, deep olive green, I think that's the name of the colour, by Roman Schmall. That also has a similar effect to this rich green gold, so that would be suitable. But anyway, if adding one of those colours underneath and then adding the complex forest green on top, I just love the effect. It gives that really natural looking foliage, or for me, natural looking. As I've said before, it depends what you consider to look natural to you in your part of the world. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to choose a colour for my branches, and I think I am going to choose this this burnt umber by Deep Light. It is a fine colour, so I'm going to just add a little bit of it, and again, just where I've put my shadow. And if you can, because these lines are really fine, just leave a little bit of a highlight on the wider branches. So a little bit more, a little bit more under here, a bit more here. So I think that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what I think needs correcting. I think I need to put some shadow on here, on this little birdhouse here, because I forgot to do so. And I also want to put a little bit more of this forest green under here, because I think it's quite light. It's not dark enough, not as dark as I would want it to be. I also forgot to add some green here to my little chimney. And I also forgot to add smoke to my little chimney. And to do that, I'm going to start with this Van Dyke Brown, very, very light mixture of Van Dyke Brown. And I'm doing my wiggly lines coming out of the chimney, because the birdies in there do want to keep warm. Add a little bit of shadow here. And a little bit of shadow here. And this is why I have to stop myself from fussing, because I will keep building layers and layers and layers of watercolour. And I need to stop myself. I used to be terrible at doing this. I mean, I wouldn't stop. I just had no breaks. But through the years, I have learned that I have to stop. I have to stop what I'm, or I will just, it's not that the painting turns out badly. It's not that. I've got some pieces that I've given to friends, and I go into their homes sometimes and see them and go, oh wow, I remember that. And there might be like 50 layers of watercolour on it. And it looks okay. It doesn't, I mean, I don't kind of, draw back and go, oh, what was I thinking? But it just isn't feasible these days for me to take that much time on a tiny piece of art. I have to keep on moving. Also, if I did that, I wouldn't have any time for all the ideas I have. And I want to explore everything that comes to me. And I wouldn't have the time to do that. So I'm going to use some of this slate. And I'm going to do some wiggly lines. Okay. I think I'm going to add a little birdie here, here. Just a suggestive birdie, as in suggesting the existence of one. And okay, I'm doing it again. I'm just actually stopping myself from doing little birdies or flying all over the place. I am going to pick up some of this warm scarlet. Actually, no. I think what I want to pick up is this rosehip. So I've just picked up some of rosehip from Deep Deep Light, and I'm going to do the door here. And maybe a little red there. And I think that's it. What do you think? Should I add some more colour or should I just stop? No, I'll stop. I'll stop from myself getting carried away again. Okay, so that was the tutorial for our second little quirky house. I really enjoyed doing these houses. I had quite a few ideas for quirky houses. I'll show you if I can bring the other sketchbook I have. Oh dear. Okay, let's open this. So these were the ideas for the quirky houses, how they began in my head. So I was thinking about this as the tiered one. This was the birdie one that we did. I also thought about doing a mushroom one, but yeah, in the end I just went with these two. If you would like to see more quirky houses, let me know. Of course I would do a poll for next month's tutorial, and I might add some more quirky houses in there if you would like to, for us to explore that theme. If not, we'll move on to something completely different. But yeah, it's always good to have feedback from you and to know that I am being guided by you, to know that you are getting some value from the tutorials, that you know, that is really important for me. So thank you for all the feedback, and especially voting on the polls. That really helps. Anyway, I'm going to leave you here. Before I leave you, I want to say how much you mean to me, how much I appreciate you being here, and I couldn't do this without you. I really couldn't. I love you all so very much. I hope to see you all soon. Until then, keep safe, keep creative, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.